We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Scream Queen. Scream Queen's back. How you doing?
Oh, is that me?
I don't know. You like a horror. I don't know.
I do. And I do like to scream. But yeah, no, I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. How's your week been? How's your week been?
It's been fleeting. Absolutely fleeting. Not even felt like an hour. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, really, really fast. Couldn't even tell you what happened. Couldn't even tell you. Oh, blimey. We are recording this back to back. We're having a bit of a nuts time, aren't we? We don't know whether we're coming or going.
I've watched 10 episodes of Homers in the last 24 hours.
It will all stitch together well, won't it? It will all stitch together well.
It will, hopefully.
Manifest it. Manifest it. Don't worry, you won't be around anyway. So
That's true.
I'll be dealing with it. Oh no, you might be. Oh, I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Right.
Anyway,
Know.
how was Home and Away? How was Home and Away this week?
Well, seeing as I watched it as a block of an hour and 40 minutes, it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. I actually really like watching it this way. I might have to do it like this in the future.
What?
It's been. I'm joking. I don't have time. It was good. I've enjoyed it. The script every day has just been so good. There's been bits I've really enjoyed every day, and like I said last week, I feel like the characters are saying the stuff that I'm screaming at the TV. Like sometimes they've said it before I've even like managed to get it out of my mouth. I'm thinking it, and then they're saying it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was just gonna say that. Oh, brilliant! Like,
yeah,
so good. Clap, fire emoji, etc. for the script. Oh,
we can't gush enough about everything at the moment, can we?
Honestly, 10 out of 10 for me at the moment. 10 out of 10.
And this was like a week or two halves as normal, really. But we started the first half of the week was just everyone was just angry. Half the bay are on drug charges and the other half are on kidnap charges, and everyone's just really annoyed with each other. And it was just like, you come off the back of something the week before and it's like really big. It was definitely like something big's just happened and this is the fallout sort of thing. So
yeah,
it was good just to get stuck in the action. Loads of stuff going up. I noticed a lot of the scenes at the start of the week were short and snappy. Like there was no really long convoluted dialogue. It was just like this person, that, and then we went somewhere else, then we came back, and it was it felt like there was loads of stuff going on as a result of that.
There's been no dithering. Like sometimes we get a couple of episodes of dithering where somebody knows something but they don't go and say it. This week everyone's come out and said what they're thinking. Like they said I'm annoyed, or they've said, oh, do you want to tell me about this because I've just found out about it, without dithering for 2 days and thinking, oh, I should probably go and tell. That's why I've enjoyed it, especially watching it like we've watched it this weekend, like back to back. Because it's been so fast, like it's been moving really quickly, and I've just enjoyed everything that's been happening. Oh, I just can't say more positive things about this week at all.
Yeah,
so good.
No, I agree. It's been a good one. So do you want to get to it?
Yes, please.
Let's have a look. Do you want your headlines?
I do.
I'm just writing them as we speak. Let's see how this goes. Leah and Justin cut their honeymoon short. Valerie is sent packing. Levi faces the music. And John goes online.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts, and ensure you never miss an episode.
Right, we start at the beginning of the week, and Theo's looking for Valerie, isn't he? She's taken off after everything's come crashing down at the wedding, the drug charges, you name it. We all went through it on last week's episode. And she's done one. She's took off. That seems to be her go-to, doesn't it? Whenever things get a little bit tough, it's either a pill or the road, one of the two. And he is frantically looking for her around the bay. Nobody's seen her. And he bumps into Kirby, who's sort of laying into her. She's absolutely furious, Kirby, isn't she? And I don't blame her. I've got to say, Sophie, I do not blame her. She's just fresh off being banged up in that cell with Eden. She's like, all her band stuff's been impounded. She's fuming, and she told him this would happen. Do you know what I mean? I completely understood her. Kirby for me has stood out this week actually with this, because what I love about it is she has a moment, she has her peace, because Valerie eventually comes back home, after she's, licked her wounds, doesn't she? And Theo and her have a bit of a chat, and Kirby turns up and she's like, unless the next thing out of your mouth is I know how to fix this, you're gonna shut up and listen. Like, come on, Kirby. Yeah.
Yes, I enjoyed that. Yes, it was good. It was this scene was really good actually, because she did the tough kind of love, didn't she, Valerie, at this point? And I like the fact that Theo's going like, oh, give her a break, and Kirby's there like, no, reality check, come on, like we need to sort this out. So it was nice to see the combination of the two of them, because it was unusual, wasn't it, to have them all in the scene together.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've had a few of it over the few weeks, but it's been quite sort of heightened when we've had it, and it's been quite argumentative. And what Kirby, even though she's upset and she's annoyed, and everybody else is reeling the repercussions of this girl's actions, later in the week, because she bumps into Valerie on the beach, upset that everything's falling apart and she's going to lose a house and all the rest of it, which is what she feared. That was her greatest fear, the security of a home life, wasn't it? We've spoken about that before. Kirby still takes the time to listen to her. So even though she had a moment where, like you say, she had to give her some tough love, she still gave her the time of day in the end. Yeah, and I think that really showed maturity on her behalf.
Yeah, I think Kirby can be mature. She gets she sort of flies off the handle. She gets cross. She's got that sort of that anger and like that passion and fire. She's got that, but she's also got that empathy, and she does think about how other people feel, and that does make her more of a likable character. So yeah, I don't. If you see someone on the beach upset, however you feel about them, if you've got a heart, you stop and you ask if they're all right, don't you? So it was nice to see that. It was nice to see her do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it saved this storyline, really. This turn the tide, didn't it?
Yeah.
If you pardon the pun. Elephant in the room, Justin and Leah have had to cut short their honeymoon without letting Leah know why, which I find bizarre. Like, what a long drive home that would have been. Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, just to rescue a van. I don't know whether. And obviously, Justin knows more, so he knows about the drugs. So he's thinking, oh God, something's happened. We need to go home. But Leah's just thinking the van's been impounded, and why can't we wait a couple of days? Is it that important?
I know.
I'd have been like, we'll sort it on Wednesday or whatever day we get back. You know what I mean? Like...
No, I would have been. But never mind. Seemingly, she didn't ask any questions until she got all the way home. And Justin is absolutely furious that Valerie's at the house. He told him to get out. And he's sort of at the end of his tether now. He's had to cut short his honeymoon. It's affecting his enjoyment of his wedding celebrations, isn't it now? And he's probably going to have to own up to Leah that he kept that from her. So everything's all a bit, I'm going to say heightened again, but everyone's annoyed at this stage. He's at the end of his rag, Justin, isn't he?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, while he's gone home to try and face this and sort this out initially, Leah's elsewhere in the bay, and she's bumped into Kirby, who said, you need to speak to Theo, I can't tell you. So Leah's sus, so she goes running straight home, and then Justin's like, well, let's tell her, shall we? Let's tell her everything. Just comes out with it there and then. They're on drugs. What a way.
This was so good. I was literally on the edge of my seat with this scene because he just went, right, you've done enough talking, Theo. Valerie, you'll go. Why don't you tell Leah about how you've ruined Theo's life and got him on drugs? And I was like, oh my God, is this how we tell her? This is why I'm loving this week, because everything is just like out, plaster ripped off. It's not dithering about. It's not like, oh, I'll talk to you later and I just need to go and have a word with Theo and I'll come back in a bit. It's just getting to the point of it, and this is why I've loved it, because there's been no dithering.
Yeah, there's been no holds barred, have there? It's just been like, get it out there, out in the open.
Yeah.
We've had weeks and weeks and weeks of secrets.
Yes.
So to have an explosive week is the payoff, really, isn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah.
And this results in Valerie actually fleeing again from the house because it's too hard, and Theo has to fill in Leah and Justin with her story and everything that's gone on. They're rightly concerned for Theo, and he's got to be their main priority, and that's the conclusion that they come to with it all. When she does return home after that lovely chat that she has with Kirby, she returns home. She learns that she's got to go. Leah is imploring her to go to the clinic. Let me drive you. She's like, I need the family. She's sort of saying, I need to be with the family. But you're still using, aren't you? Do you know what I mean, girl? So it's not. It's what you think you need and what you need are two different things, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they ask her to ask. She's got to go. She's got to go. Have we seen the end of Valerie? Do you think now? Is that? Do we now concentrate on Theo and his recovery?
I don't know, because obviously when she left, it sounded like she was running away. She wasn't taking responsibility still. She's saying, I'll get better if I stay here. I don't need to go to the clinic. I'll just stay here, and I just want to be part of a family. And it's like, well, that clearly wasn't working. And Kirby spelled it out to her. I think everybody has this week. Really, I think they've done this really well. They've literally spelled out the issues to her and said, you've been in the clinic, that didn't work. You came home with Leah, that hasn't worked. You're still getting off your tits. There's still a problem. This isn't fixing you. You might think it is, but it's not. You're panicking because you've got nowhere else to go. Do you really love Theo, or is this all just about saving your own butt? I love the way that everyone sort of said it like it is to her. I think she needed to hear it. In the back of my mind, all the stuff that people say about addicts, they lie, they manipulate. I feel for her. God, I feel for the girl, but you can't take what she's saying because she's an addict. And I love the fact that people haven't fell for the bullshit, because what I was really worried about was Leah was going to hear the sob story and then go, oh, that's terrible, oh, of course you can stay, and then we'll get back on the merry-go-round. You know what I mean? I'm really pleased that we haven't gone down that route, and I'm really pleased the fact that they've managed to get Theo to think about his situation, because he's like, oh, I'll just knock the drugs on the head. And I was like, no, that's not going to work. And then everyone else has sort of said, yeah, but look what you've done. You've not just took drugs, you've stolen off your family to buy the drugs. Yeah. That's not right. That's what addicts do. Maybe you don't feel like you've got an addiction right now, but you've got a problem and we need to deal with this. So this was just I just think this was really well handled. I wasn't angry at all. Sometimes they get it wrong and we come on here and we go, oh my God, what the hell are they playing at? But no, for me, they did this really well.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it was all the more evident when, he has that back chat, and then Justin has to have a go at him, and he goes off to Remy to sort with his tail between his legs. And Remy Remy's annoyed, but his guitar's in one piece, and he turns his attention quite quickly to let's help Theo out. Gives Bree a call, so they go over to Bree's, and then there's that moment where he starts opening up, and it was really spelling it out, but Remy was great. He was like, well, what about next time it gets a bit stressful? You think you might not be an addict, but you've definitely got a problem. It's the line he used, wasn't it? I completely agree. It was really well done, and you don't often see this. You normally see a load of fallout around it all, don't you? Ostracized and all the rest of it. And I even liked, because Theo's obviously not putting himself first, even though everybody around him is, and he's saying, everyone keeps saying I need to do that, but I wish Valerie would have this support that I'm getting offered. And I was thinking, but she is she's not, but she's not open to it. Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
She's
she is
saying
being
no.
offered stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Leah gave her a choice. She said you can either go to the clinic or you can just, get lost. So if she'd gone, I'll go to the clinic and I'll go and get help, that would have been a way back. Because what if really what Valerie wants is to stay with Leah, which I don't think it is, then she should have bit her hand off there and said, I will go back to the clinic, I will work on myself, and then when I come out, will you be here? And Leah would have gone, yeah, I will. But she didn't take that because that's the hard option.
Yeah. She wants to run. She just wants to keep running.
Yeah, keep taking the drugs and keep messing up and just repeat this pattern, because once you're in that pattern, it's really hard to get out of it. And I'm really glad we haven't got to the point with Theo where he can't go back now. Like, we've got to the point where we're going, look, you're about to fall off the cliff here, but you've still got a finger hanging on. So why don't you pull yourself up and get some help? So
yeah, that's it. So yeah, I mean, even Bree summarizes it. You can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. And that's as simple as it is, really, isn't it? They've got to want it. They've got to want it just as much as you do. So yeah, really enjoyed what happened there. And that's coming from me, who's been slagging off this Valerie stuff the last few weeks because it's getting a bit monotonous, like, oh, God's sake. I feel for Theo now. Let's see what happens with him. Let's see what that recovery looks like.
And she's handed herself in, from what we know, don't we? So she's handed herself in because obviously they've got all the equipment back. They've got the van back, and they've only got that back because she's gone to the police station and said, it was me. It's not their fault. It were my drugs I stashed, so they didn't even know they were there. So presumably now, if she's going to go to court, as part of her court-ordered sentencing or whatever, she's going to have to be offered
rehabilitation.
You think so, wouldn't you? So it could be a door left open in the future for her. I mean, if the clinic didn't work the first 8 months, I don't know whether it's going to work again. But you know what I mean? That she could come back, because I don't think, if Theo is really in love with her, I think it's going to take him a while, A, to get over the drugs addiction, or the start of this addiction, and B, to get over Valerie.
Yeah, completely agree. I completely agree. Hey, dear me. Right. What else are we not getting over? Levi and Eden, they were talking at the start of the week. Something else that was exploding or imploding or whatever imploding he wanted to do this week. She's been playing it all over in her head. All those times he was in the bay and just happened to be here at her beck and call. He was here anyway with Mac. And I did like the scene where she puts the cup of tea down and he's like, thank you. It's not for you.
This is mine. Yeah.
And it doesn't resolve, but it's calmer than the week before, because she was going off her mind. She's not ready to listen to him at this stage, is she?
No.
And she's already filled Cash in. Cash comes back and is like, I didn't think you'd be here, mate. So
I like that. The fact that he was like, you've had one chance and you've blown it. Get out. Yes, Cash.
Chucks him out. Yeah. And he had his suit on, and
he did. Yeah, loved this.
I
told you, it's my new fave. I love Cash. So fickle.
Very. That's coming from me.
I love Marley. I don't like Marley. I love Marley. I'm like, I love Cash.
Oh, I like Marley.
Oh dear.
Kimmy.
Look at me.
Look at me. Okay. Oh no, Scott. The fallout from this is, however, rippling throughout the bay, isn't it? Because over at Salt, Mac and Flick are still at loggerheads about the whole thing. Lots of judgy arguments here. Felicity basically saying, can't believe you've done this. You're ruining someone's marriage. And Mac says to her, double standard. You literally ruined your own. Like your own marriage fell apart. She said, yeah, but it wasn't somebody else's, was it? You know what I mean? Like, in other words, I at least my shit was in my own backyard. Do you know what I mean? And these two for some reason, Felicity, and I don't know whether it's her allegiance with Eden and the band, but for some reason, Felicity's got herself quite invested in this. And I'm struggling a little to see how and why. Is it just me?
I think there's a couple of things here. I think it's her closeness with Eden, and obviously Eden being really, really upset, and now potentially losing a brother again after being reunited and everything. And she's been saying to Flick, for ages, like, oh, it's so nice to have him back in my life, and it's so nice to have a brother again. Like, she's heard all of this. I think it's partially that. I think the other part is that actually Flick is a bit sore that she didn't know about it, and that Mac and her are supposed to be good friends, and she kept it from her. I think there's an element of that as well. A bit of that,
right? Okay, yeah. Because I'm like, it's very extra. I mean, I know Flick is a bit extra, but it was really extreme. This response, like, let your feelings known. Let I don't think there's any doubt that Mac knows what she's done here, right?
Yeah.
What her and Levi have done. Let me reiterate, not just Mackenzie.
And Mackenzie did have a big hand in the fact that Flick's marriage ended.
True.
Got to be honest. Like,
she gave her an ultimatum, didn't she?
Yeah,
Tell him more either.
She literally made that implode, by saying, "Go and speak to your wife," and then Tane dumping out the bag on the table. That was all from Mac. So there's going to be some resentment, even if they've got past it. Recently, that's going to be dredged up, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
It's quite complex, really, when you think about it, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. And then they've obviously got this whole. It's not like they can avoid each other. They own the bloody bar together as well. So they're going to be forced to face it perhaps sooner than you would ordinarily if you were in a professional situation like that.
Yes.
So they're going to be forced to front it, aren't they? Probably sooner. She turfs Levi out. He comes back. She's like, "What you doing?" So this tussle goes on, and when Felicity gets back to the share house with the band, they'd already had a visit off Levi saying, "You need to tell Felicity to back off." He was quite angry about it. It's between me and my wife, and and leave it that way. Stop involving everybody. So they do ask Felicity to sort of cool it a bit. Well,
they don't really, do they? They just reiterate what they don't actually tell her, because Remy, when Levi says, "Oh, she's giving Mac a hard time at work," Remy laughs and goes, "Yeah, go on, Flick, go on." And then when Flick finds out this, she laughs and she goes, "Well, I hope you turfed him out of here like I turfed him out of Salt." And they were like, "Well, yeah, we did actually. We chucked him out." I don't think they were telling her you have to back off. I think they were saying Levi's told us to tell you, and make of that what you will.
I passed the message on. Do whatever.
Yeah, I don't think they agreed with what Levi said. It was only when Eden said, "I think he's got a point," and everyone went, "Eh?"
I mean, if Levi and Mac have got anything, they need to keep a low profile. I think they do, don't they, for a few days? But that's just coincidence of the block story telling.
We did get that scene though, didn't we? Because we were talking last week on the pod, and I said, it's make or break time now. How Levi and Mac are with each other. It's either going to draw them together or it's going to push them further apart. And we did have that scene before he left where they sat on the sofa and they said, "I love you." And they seemed like he was saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize how much your life would get fucked up. And I was just thinking about how my life is going to get fucked." And she was like, "Oh, I can deal with my life as long as you're all right." And I was like, there's a flicker of hope here. I'm still not convinced.
I mean, they both declared the L word to each other.
They did.
Are they just kidding themselves?
Well, yeah. They've got to make it work now, haven't they? Because they've made such a mess of everything.
Yeah, but I don't even think Mac's that convinced, because even as he's about to leave to go home to meet Imogen back from this conference, wherever she's gone to, she's like, "What if she says, that if she forgives you and you can give it another go?" She's even checking that he's still going to come back at that point. Like, does she actually believe in the strength of this relationship they've formed? Doesn't that, to me, says not at this stage. She's got doubts, or she thinks it.
Yeah.
And we were saying the other week, weren't we? When you start a relationship in this way, there has to be something that puts you on the back foot in the trust area. And without the trust, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm still not convinced myself. And that scene, seemingly, unimportant scene, told me a lot about how Mackenzie's security is with the relationship. I don't think she thinks it's 100.
No.
So he goes off, and seemingly Mac stays at home eating ice cream for a few days, and we rejoin the story sort of at the end of the week, and Eden's still not heard anything, and now she's wondering if he's actually done it, and can she trust it. So everyone's I actually thought we'd get it this week, but seemingly not. It's going to spill into the next week. We don't know whether Imogen knows, whether he's done a runner with Imogen. Like, is he coming back? Like, is Mac going to be deserted?
The trailer showed him on the phone to Mac, and this is for next week, and he says, "Oh, she's not back from the conference yet." And I thought, is that another pack of lies? Because we know he's a good liar, don't we? Is she there in another room in the house, and he just hasn't had the guts to actually tell her yet? And she's been back for a couple of days, and he's just gone, "Oh, I'll do it later."
Yeah, because why would he go back to speak to her 3 days early?
Exactly.
She wasn't due back, so
I don't trust him. Mac shouldn't, but I definitely don't. I'm thinking he's gutless and he's just not told her.
Seems that way.
Could be wrong.
Seems that way. We'll have to find out next week, but it does seem that way, doesn't it? Oh God, it's all a hot mess, isn't it? Everyone's holding their breath to wait for it all to kick off, basically, and that's where they've left us with it. I don't know whether Mac will front it with the Bay when it all comes out. You know what these small communities are like. So we'll have to see. Right, News has got back. Stevie's got that part in that rom-com. Yeah, hey. So no typecast for this girl, and she's doing a media announcement launch event thing. She's all over the socials. Cash has still got the notifications on, so he gets a ping about her going live on TikTok or whatever, and she's all like, "Come on down, every man and his dog, including the stalker. Come on down. This is where I am." And Cash is panicking, even though he's off the clock now. He's not, she fired him last week. And Eden, despite having all this stuff going on, goes, "Go and be a hero. Go and find her." So he goes on down to the event, doesn't he? And he finds a load of these movie hotshots there launching this movie, this announcement of this rom-com that's going to be made. Man bun, what was he called? Nelson.
Ooh.
Was it Nelson?
Yeah. Was it
Nelson? Is he the producer or something?
Director or something. Yeah, or producer. Yeah. I can't remember.
He's got words, so we're going to see a bit of him. He's had words. You see, he's had things to say.
He's got a name. Yeah.
He's got a name. Yeah, I mean,
full name. Yeah. I think he got 2 names, didn't he? I think he got a surname.
Yeah, so we're going to see more of him, I think. And she's like, "What are you doing here? Like, you're no longer my bodyguard. Have a drink, but don't cause a scene." And he's like, "You're being stupid, woman. This is dangerous. There's a stalker out there." And she don't want to hear it because she's like, well, she's acting out. She's upset about her co-star friend and that coroner ruling last week, and she's just defiantly ploughing on without really thinking of her own safety. She does this big speech that makes him sort of see things from her perspective a little bit, because they've been butting heads, haven't they, a bit? And she does this speech about, this is for her, this is for Crystal, and all the rest of it. And they do have a bit of a chat afterwards, and he says, I get it, but I'm just trying to be here for you and your safety. There's a group of fans outside, isn't there? And they want autographs and things, and he's like, "This is dangerous." I think it's like 12 people there. There's hardly a mob. Yeah.
No, he did have a point though. He did walk into that sort of launch without anybody stopping him and saying, "Who are you and what's your name?" It wasn't very secure, considering she was meant to be, dangerous stalker or whatever.
Yeah, no one's done a recce of the underground multi-story car park that could have a bomb or something. You know, it was lax. It was lax.
It was.
And she says, "No, I'm doing it. These people have come to see me. I'm going to go and say hello and give them her autograph and stuff." And she's doing it. And there's a dodgy-looking fella at the back there, isn't there? Who's trying to get forward, and he's all like, Stevie, say your line, Stevie.
Yeah.
Lunges forward and Cash goes into bodyguard Cash mode and chases him. Call the police. Ends up under this underground car park looking for him. All very action, very 007. I must say, I did like it. Music was very tense. Yeah. And he jumps out at him and he twists his arm and commandeers him and gets him on the floor, and that's that. He's arrested, and Cash was the hero. Go and be a hero. Yes, I will. Yeah. Again,
no dithering. I like this. I'm enjoying Cash and Stevie. I think they've got a really good on-screen chemistry. I'm enjoying the dialogue. Again, there was lots of little quips and one-liners between them. The banter between those two I find really funny. And then obviously I love the drama. I love the diving into the car park. I loved all of that. So this for me, again, I hope this isn't over because I want to see more of this.
Yeah. I don't think it will be, and I think the because we find out that they found loads of stuff at his house, including guns. I mean, we do need to learn more about him. I think we need to find out if he's operating alone. Is he part of some sort of group? Is it just a strange weirdo, or we do need to know a bit more, I think.
Is he definitely behind the media accounts? Because you and I were sort of having a chat off air. We were like, we were glad that the confirmation came through that he'd got these guns and he'd got all this evidence in this house somewhere that we weren't allowed to know the details of. So it's because we were saying, like, what's he going to be? Because he said something like, enjoy jail for the rest of your life, or he's not going to be in your life anymore. He's off to prison or whatever. And I was thinking, what are they actually charging him with? He's stood in a crowd. He's asked her a question and then he's lunged at her. As far as we know, he's not had a gun on him at the time, or not got a knife or anything. Not pulled a knife on her, or he hasn't even touched her. And Cash has chased him into an underground car park and he's been arrested. But I was like, what's the charge here? Like, how can he go to prison for the rest of his life for this? It seems a little extreme. So obviously the confirmation that we got that he's got stuff in his apartment, he's got all these guns, he's dangerous, etc. was good. But did they actually say he's behind all the social media accounts? I didn't hear that.
No, I didn't.
Is this another weirdo? Is this just another random weirdo?
Is it coincidental? I mean, famous movie stars must have weirdos all the time turn up to things like this,
Definitely, yeah.
Is it just coincidental and the stalking will continue now that her guard's dropped?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because they've made too much of a deal about this being over and her life being back, and I was like, I'm not convinced. Is it just me?
No, it's too good to be true sort of situation, isn't it?
Yeah. Unless the stalker was Stevie all along, which I don't think.
Well, I was about to say, yeah. Do we believe? Are we in the camp now? Are we changing our minds? Like she has got a stalker sort of thing.
I don't know. It's all very convenient if it was her, isn't it? I don't know. I've still got too many questions for it to be written off as this is the end of the story for me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, she does come back. Well, yeah, she does come back to the Bay actually, and it says, "I still want you to be my bodyguard. I'll take you back on." That's the fresh offer that we're deliberating over. And Eden's like, "Go for it. Go and tell her you need to do it. It'll make you feel good. It's better than going around a mall all night doing nothing."
Yeah.
And but he says, "No, Eden needs me. I'm going to stay here." So as she drives off into the sunset. Do you think we're going to see more of Stevie then?
I hope so, because what's Cash going to do now? I mean, I like the fact that Eden's supported him here and said, "I know you need to do this. Go and do it." Because I really thought she was going to go, "Oh, I need you, and just be unemployed with me and just sit on the sofa all day." And I was like, "Oh no, please, I can't." We need Cash to do. Cash is interesting when he's got something that enthusiastic or passionate about. This is what
you should know as his number one fan.
I know, right? I know what makes him tick. I've been watching. He needs something. He can't just bumble about the bay. It's boring. And this was when he's got fire in his belly, and when I love him. He's got something to get his teeth into. This is when we love Cash. I can't see him going back to doing a boring job or sitting around with Eden and talking about crap. He needs something like this. So this was like, oh, I'm glad she supported him, but why did he turn her down? Why did he say Eden needs me? Like, yeah, her brother's going through shit, but do you know what? We all have shit going on in our lives, and we still manage to have a job. You know what I mean? Like, why does he need to sit at home all day just because Eden's having a shit day?
I was quite glad she told him to go for it, to be honest. I thought if she starts saying, no, I need you, and you don't go off with her, I thought, oh, God, can't be doing with that. So,
she didn't.
I see what you're saying.
She surprised me. Yeah. She surprised me, but then he surprised me by saying no, and I was like, oh, Cash.
He'll change his mind. He'll change his mind a couple of days when all dust has settled and he's bored.
Yeah.
And he's probably seeing things on the social media that she's up to.
Exactly. Yeah. And the elephant in the room again is that Stevie Marlowe is this big shot, film star, and she's probably worth a fortune, and she's offered him a job and said, I'll pay you really well. And I thought, yeah, we need that because
he needs to bankroll his girlfriend.
He bankrolls his girlfriend, but he bankrolls his sister and half the bay as well, like Lyric. You know what I mean? Like, he needs that money.
Yeah, he literally bankrolled Lyric's album, didn't he? Or tried to.
He tried to, didn't he? But then I think Kirby paid for it in the end, or someone did. Yeah, like he's always bailing people out. He needs that cash, literally, his name and what he needs as well.
I suspect there's more to come.
Hope so.
And I'm keeping an open mind as to whether we've actually got the guy or whether there's somebody else out there.
Yeah.
And whether she's just a big drama screen queen and doing it herself. Who knows? Right, Dana, she's late for lifeguard duty this week because she was helping support Harper with her lawyer meeting, because there's a very good chance she's going to get charged along with Marley for aiding a kidnapping event that you may remember happened recently. All over the news if you haven't been watching. Baby's now safe with mum. Seemingly Rue is visiting them both as well, which, oh God. Do you remember last week and I said to you, I'm going to be a bit upset if Rue doesn't sort of support Tane a bit more here, with the fallout from it all. And what do you know? She seems to have turned her back on him completely.
Yeah, I was interested to get your thoughts about this because obviously she's still supporting Sonia, which I'm enjoying hearing that, even if we're not seeing it. That conversation in the diner where we got to hear Mr. Stewart saying, "Oh, Rue's popped round and seen the baby and she's doing all right," and then she got to tell other people, "Oh, I've been to see Sonia," and I thought that's nice because normally we'd hear nothing and we just assume that the baby's gone back to the mum and we assume everything's gone okay. And it's nice to hear that they're following up and giving us some conclusions to some of these storylines. It's really nice to see that. But then, the fact that she had a go at Tane and she also had a go at Marley as well, didn't she? Because Marley's like playing the victim. Oh, we might get charged and blah, blah, blah. She's like, well, you had a choice. You could have told the cops.
Yeah, well, I mean, now.
Yeah. What did you think?
I've got to tell her. So I was a bit surprised. I was hoping she wouldn't do that. She's gone too far the other way. Fair enough, because what it is, it's to do with that empathy. It's to do with that mother thing and the Rue's experience. We're skating around it. Rue's not explicitly telling anybody about what happened all those years ago with her own child and putting up for adoption, etc. But that does seem to be fueling her actions now. And whether it's like, where everyone talks about Home and Away, not really, acknowledging how old it is and its past. We're skating around it and we're all screaming like there's a reason Rue's being like this, right? There's a reason she's being really, really strong in reaction to especially now she's met Sonia and spent some time with her. But I think she needs to check herself a bit and realize that she was doing all that herself. She was part of the story. She was part of okay, she didn't commit any offence and run off with a kid, or not conceal any information or anything. She wasn't part of all that drama, but she was still part of this baby's journey with Tani. And I think she's throwing a bit of judgment about with. She's gone too far in the other direction. Is basically what I'm trying to say. And I was a little upset with her for it.
Yeah. Do you think that they'll have another conversation? Do you think they'll ever have a conversation where she'll say to Tani, "Do you know what? I'm coming at this from the point of view of the mother because of something in my history." And yet again, we're not seeing the mental health aspect with Tani either. So do we think we'll ever get to that point?
I don't. I was hoping it would happen this week. And the longer it goes on, I don't think we're going to. And I'm a bit disappointed in that. I will be honest. I'm disappointed in Rue, but I should come to expect that these days. I really should.
I was going to say, we have had words about Rue on the pod for the last couple of years, so it is in keeping with Rue, isn't it, and how we feel about her.
She's trying to do the right thing, but she's not looking at it objectively. I mean, fair enough. You perhaps wouldn't in that situation, but I think she needs to understand other people had best interest at heart. And I mean, she doesn't know the story. She doesn't know what happened. She wasn't there.
No.
Especially when it comes to having a pop at Marley. Like, Marley actually got the baby back. Give the guy a medal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's this talk all week. I mean, Dana's panicking about these charges. She's going around the base saying, "Who can help? Who can help?" Harper's meeting with a lawyer. Even Tane's getting a call from his lawyer that he forgot he had, saying he's got a court date in 5 weeks. 5? That's a big number. Normally 2.
It's normally a month or 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Exactly 2 weeks time.
I was like, 5 weeks? Are you kidding? Gosh.
I know. That's gonna fly by.
That is true, especially we're watching it like this. Blimey. So 5 weeks. So he's now got to face the music, and everybody else is worrying about their future. Half the Bay are on charges here, and it turns out Rose has been told by Sarge. Sarge is a right piece of work, isn't he? He's not happy.
I think he's brilliant.
He's not happy, is he, that Rose is like stalled looking for the, she was trying to give him time, wasn't she, with the DNA and everything when they were looking for Tani. He's not happy, so he said to her, "You decide who gets charged, you decide," which puts her in a right position. I'm sure the police commissioner or somebody out there would have so much to say about that.
Yeah, well, this is one of the things where the dialogue again has been great this week, because as soon as she had this conversation with I think it was Xander and Brie, wasn't it, where she said, "Sarge just dropped this on me. I've got to decide whether I charge my boyfriend." And Xander went, "Is that not a conflict of interest?" And Brie was like, "Yeah, like, should you be making that decision? Like, is it not a bit?" And I thought, yeah, this is exactly the conversation we would have on the pod. Yeah. Because normally that wouldn't happen. It would just be her dropping the bombshell. She'd walk out. They'd go, "Oh God, poor Rose," and then we'd come on here and go, "Why?" And what I really loved this week was not only that conversation, but then she had a later conversation with Brie where she was like, "Oh, tell me why. Tell me why he's done this to you. Tell me what you think." And she said, "Oh, I think he's tested my professionality. I think this is all a test. I think he's trying to make sure that I'm doing my job properly." And then we had that other conversation with Irene where she was like, "Look, sit down, off the record. What are you thinking? Like, how would you normally go about investigating this?" And this is the kind of stuff that we would have normally spent probably half an hour on the pod saying, "Why didn't they do this? And why didn't they do that? And blah, 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 blah." And they've done it for us. And I'm like, I feel like we're out of a job. I know, we're out of a job. I just think this was, again, so good. Like the drugs dialogue storyline was really good this week. This was really good. The stuff that I'm usually screaming at the TV going like, "Conflict of interest, how dare they, blah, blah, blah. Why?" All answered. I didn't even have to shout. I just went, "Oh, I just sit back and watch and listen." This is lovely. It was lovely. I really enjoyed it. Is it just me?
No,
do I get too invested?
Right. No, yes, but no. You're right. This is stuff that can often get overlooked when a storyline is going at pace, isn't it? And you're right, we come in here and spend 20 minutes dissecting it and going mad about it. It was nice that it was considered, you know, and we're seeing lots of this scattered through the scripts at the moment. You are right to constantly keep highlighting it because it is so good that we're getting it. So we're in this position. She's got to choose. Sarge, piece of work, has made her choose, and she's trying to keep a lid on it. But Xander's a bit stressed because, like, every time we see Xander, sorry for your wait, I'm so busy. Every time he hands someone a drink, sorry for your wait, it's very busy.
I'm the only one here
because all the owners are AWOL.
He's running a whole restaurant by himself. Oh my god!
So. It's him whose mouth is running this week rather than Dana, because he ends up letting slip to Dana that she's got to choose. I did laugh because when he says it, and she's like, "What? Wait, so Rose has to choose whether Harper gets charged." Sorry, gotta go, gotta work. Bye.
Gotta make a cocktail. See you in a bit. Yeah.
A Virgin Mary with alcohol in it. Yeah. So he's been quite funny this week as Xander. So, I felt so. Obviously, Dana. Then this was the sticking her nose in. Goes straight to Rose, doesn't she? She's like, "Look, I know, it's you who makes the decision. Come on, Dana, man. I mean, just at this point, you know, Harper. I was like, if Harper knew you were doing this, she'd be going bloody mad.
Yeah, she would. Yeah.
And I thought, you're doing nobody any favours here. Luckily, thank God, as you mentioned, Irene makes Rose actually do the investigation.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go and interview them.
Let's actually do some work here, Rose. Instead of just sitting at home and going, "Oh my God, I've got to make a decision." Why don't we actually? Because I love the fact that she said, well, if it was a stranger, if it wasn't your boyfriend, what would you do? And I was like, exactly. That's exactly what me and Si would have said on the pod. But Irene said it first.
Go on, girl.
Go on, Irene.
Do you know what it is? It's because Irene's at home drinking bottles of champagne over night time and you just don't see it.
Can we just
since the wedding?
Can we talk about the champagne on Home and Away? Because it looks corked whenever they give a glass of champagne out. It's the wrong colour. Have you noticed?
There's no bubbles in it either.
No, it's like it's water with far too much food colouring in it, because we had it at the wedding and then at the Stevie Marlowe event as well, and I thought that champagne looks corked. It's very orange.
And there's no fizz. There's absolutely no fizz. Yeah.
Gross.
The red wine as well looks like purple. It's you can see through it, can't you? Bless.
I wonder whether that's some of the colour grading they do in the editing as well. Whether I don't know. Maybe it's the right colour.
Filters and things. Yeah.
It's the right colour on the day, but maybe it's a grey day and we need it to look sunny, so maybe that changes the colour of the liquid. I have no idea.
It could do. You're probably onto something there. Yeah. It's obviously not real alcohol anyway, is it?
No, it's the first time I would have turned down a glass of champagne, because I'd have been like, "Oh, that looks corked." No thanks.
Rose does decide in the end, having spoken to Tane, and he sort of explains, look, Marley, I asked Marley to bring my passport so I could get out of the country. I thought stupidly that would work. And he didn't. Instead, he brought Harper and they turned me in, talked me round. So she decides on that basis, and that basis alone, that she's going to recommend no charges are pressed. So it's all celebrations. We're getting beers in. It was all very odd.
We're off the hook. You're not. Come for a beer. Yeah.
And Dana has to go and apologise to Xander. She feels, like I ran my mouth and it all happened, and she's getting all flustered about it. And and he just runs over and shuts her up, doesn't he? How does he shut her up?
Wow, plants a big old kiss on her face, doesn't he? Basically.
Well, obviously, I was jumping and clapping, and I was so much glee here because I wanted this to happen for ages.
Yeah, there was a good kiss actually. I like the fact that this wasn't like she didn't know it was coming. These are quite good kisses, aren't they? When you're running your mouth, because she was getting all flustered. This is what I do when I go and I get verbal diarrhea. she was doing that. She was like apologizing, but then she was like, no, I'm apologizing about this, but I'm not apologizing about that because I was right about that and you were right about this, blah, 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 blah. And like, she's really like, all of her anxiety and everything is so obvious. And I just thought this was so cute. She was really cute in this scene. And then for him to just kind of, that where someone just barrels up to you and kisses you when you're not expecting it, that is a good kiss. Obviously you've got to make sure that they want you to kiss them, because otherwise
he knows
yeah.
that though, doesn't he?
I'm not talking about assault. I'm not talking about those kind of kisses. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the kind where you just like, you're in the moment and you're like, I see it now, I get it, and I'm just I have to kiss you because I can't not.
Yeah,
that's a good kiss.
He was probably looking at her thinking the same thing. She is so cute, the way she's bumbling over her words. I just need to kiss her now.
Yeah.
And I know she wants it because she's told me. Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it develops. She spends the night there. Like, she wakes up there the next day. Now, this is where I thought she was a bit of a plonker, because then she sneaks out. I mean, this was just sort of a story for story's sake, probably. She sneaks out and is like a complete mess, running around, walk of shame, Irene and Harper spot her.
I love that reaction from them too, where they were like, "Oh."
Me too, because obviously they lived there together, don't they? So they knew she didn't come home.
Yeah. Irene kind of grabbed Harper by the elbow and went, "Oh!" I was like, "Yes, that's what you do, don't you, when you catch someone?" And
Yeah. Yep, doing the walk of shame. Yeah. Well, it was more like a march of shame, really. And then she gathers herself together and she's in the diner and she's like, I need your help. I need your help, to Harper and Irene. And Xander comes in looking for her, and she's dived behind the counter at the diner to avoid him. Aww. So obviously now Harper and Irene know whom she spent the night with. And I just felt for poor Xander. Xander's done this big romantic gesture the night before. They've spent the night together. He's woke up. She's snuck out while he's asleep, and she's nowhere to be found in a town that is like 2 by 2, and everyone knows where everybody is all the time. Like, obviously, quite quickly, she's avoiding you. I'd be thinking, what the hell have I done? He hasn't got time to think. He's at work. Like, what the hell have I done? Sort of thing. I felt for the fella.
I did, but I think this was very Dana, because she's obviously insecure. Like, she's been told, he was quite brutal in his, knockback of her. You're like a little sister to me. I don't find you attractive, was basically what he said to her. There's nothing sexual between us. I don't think of you that way. That was harsh. Like, he may not have meant it. He may have been saying it because he's got his own shit going on, and he was like, I can't start something with Dana, she's my friend, and if it doesn't go well, I'll lose a friend, and blah blah blah. It's better if we don't do anything, because then at least I've got a friend. We've had all of that. This is Dana's insecurity of her. Imagine, right, you've told someone you like them, and they've gone, oh, I think of you as a little brother, I don't really find you attractive, and then they land a kiss on you. I've noticed you around. They land a kiss on you out of nowhere, no talking. Presumably there was little dialogue happening in the bedroom about, what is this? No conversations about what is this? What are we? Do you fancy me now? And then she's woken up before him and she's panicked. And I think she's thought, oh, this is a one-night stand. Oh, this is awkward. I don't think she's thinking this is a relationship, because he's told her, like, who sleeps with someone that they call like my little sister? Nobody. So
well, that's true. She is sort of going around the town going, what have I done? I do this all the time. I always do this. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting it. So she is sort of having an internal thing, isn't she? Like you say.
Yeah.
And then John and Irene just come in and go. They're just like, yeah. Have you spoken to him?
They were so good. They were so good with her. When they were just like, we don't understand what you're talking about.
I'm surprised John found time in between launching his website. But yeah.
I think they've been really good with it. And also, I really like the dialogue. When she was trying to convince Harper to go and get her phone for her, and she was like, no, I'm not going to do that for you. I'm not just going to go in someone's house and like get your phone. You're going to have to go and do this yourself. And then she said something like, I'd rather get a new phone. And she was like, you're a crazy person. I was like, yes. I mean, that's stuff that only siblings can get away with saying to each other, but it was so good. Dana, you're a crazy person.
My phone, the other option is getting a phone and getting a new phone, and that is my preferred choice right now.
You're a crazy person. I thought that was so good. Like, I can't say enough how much I've loved this week.
He does soon learn, doesn't he, that Harper knows, because Harper's acting very odd at Salt. He's apologised for the delay in her coffee again, and she's all like, so have you spoken to Dana? And he's like, oh my god, don't you? And she's like, yeah, she's left her phone at your house. So he like, thanks for the heads up. I felt for him, I know she's Dana in it. That's another one now. We're alphing it and Dana in it. But like, it's typical Home and Away. This couple's not talking. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
So Dana then sneaks off to the apartment to get her phone back, thinking he's probably at work, being distracted by Harper. But no, he's there, isn't he?
Well, is he? I don't know. I think he arrived after her because she let herself in, and I was like, the door's open?
Well, surely he was in somewhere. If the door was open, I don't know.
Well, he was at the bar, and he was running away from the bar when Harper said to him, like, oh, she's left the phone at your house and she's too scared to tell you, blah, blah, blah. He seemed to leave Salt at that point. And I thought,
I assumed he went home. Yeah.
I think he did, but I think he turned up after she was there. I think he turned up and saw her there.
Just leaving the door open.
But who was Bree there in her bedroom with the door open? I don't know. Bit weird.
And just thought, I'll not answer that person saying hello in the living room.
She might be in the shower, I guess. I don't know. I don't leave my door unlocked, but then apparently in Australia you do. So.
Well, I definitely don't. I live in Manchester. So.
Apparently you get away with just having a screen door, in Australia, or having the back door wide open. So it's obviously very safe.
That's one thing we can get on board with. Anyway, so Xander arrives and she's there on all fours looking for a phone under the bed. And then, can I help you? And it's like, oh. So now she does smile. It wasn't dread. She smiles. This is the start of something, I hope. Do you hope?
I think they'd be good together. I think they will be good together because I think their personalities do match. I think the chemistry is there. So I wouldn't be mad if they got. I wouldn't be mad if they got together.
This is part of the will they, won't they? That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's part of us getting there. You never know. John may be able to be their celebrant because he's starting up. He's getting a website, testimonials, pictures, you name it. So you never know. That could come in handy on a soap, having your very own celebrant there with his own celebrant business. Two couples are interested, but one's gone elsewhere.
He's going to take full responsibility for them two getting together because he's going to say it's because of his mock wedding and that he's the matchmaker.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Isn't he? He's going to go, he's going to put that on the website. I had a couple of people that were doing a demo wedding and now they're a couple. Look, it's all because of me.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. This is how good I am. Yeah.
I got a couple that wasn't even a couple to couple up. Yeah.
I suspect his foray into weddings might be short-lived, though. I don't think there's much call for it. Unless he does christens, bar mitzvahs, unless he does the lot,
I don't know. Yeah.
We'll see. But for now, we're quite happy with Dana and Xander getting loved up, I reckon.
Yeah. Right, Si, do you want to hear what people think about Home and Away this week? What's been going on in the Bay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I caught you in the middle of a thought there.
Yes, I would love to hear what else people think of Home and Away this week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not funny. I don't know why we're laughing. Hit me.
We do. We can't repeat it. We can't repeat it on air. Sorry, guys. So I've been digging through social medias looking for comments for Your Say on the Bay. This is our segment at the end of the pod episode. So I'm going to read out some comments and reactions that I've seen on social medias from people that have watched Home and Away this week in the UK. I'm going to read them out to you, Si. A quick reminder, though, we're also on social media, aren't we? So Coastal News Podcast, at Coastal News Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Twitter, you name it, we're on it. And we tweet along with the show at 6:30 p.m. Monday to Friday on 5-star here in the UK. So come and find us, jump on that hashtag and talk to us. Tell us what you think about the show.
Oh, yeah, do. Especially as it's probably going to be me for the next few weeks, isn't it?
It is, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm handing over the reins. I'm sorry.
So
I'm running away.
You've been warned. Watch out. Watch out, Twitter.
Watch out, Twitter. There are quite a few people on Twitter that are regular tweeters, like, you know, like we tweet every day, but other people tweet most days as well. So, you know, we've got Mr. David, Just Jen, Jamie,
there's a lovely
Sarah,
bunch, isn't there?
Yeah, Michelle, there's a few of us. So yeah, jump on, and we're all very nice, and we like a good Homer's chat. So
of course we do.
Jump on. I'm going to read you some thoughts out though. So
okay.
First of all, what's the ship name for Xander and Dana? We're going with Xena?
Yeah.
Xena.
Not to be confused with Xena.
Or Dander.
Princess.
Is that Dandruff? Dander? I don't know.
Xena's better, isn't it?
Xena sounds cool.
Get it hashtagged. Yeah.
Hashtag Xena. So people have been talking about, obviously, them hooking up. I mean, we've been talking about this for weeks. I've seen lots of comments for weeks about people saying, get them together, make them a couple. So, you know, not unbelievably, really, that people are quite happy about these two getting together. So Michelle on Facebook says, I think these two will be great together. Angela on Facebook says they will be fantastic together. But Caroline says, what's the appeal? Why did Dana and Brie want to snog Xander?
She's not liking Xander, no.
Harsh. Well, she likes Levi. Caroline says it's a shame that Levi's a cheating pig because he's gorgeous. So she's more of a Levi fan by the sounds of things.
Is she really? Have you seen them sweaters?
I know you don't like his sweaters.
Much improved when he's not got one of those horrible sweaters on.
He's not bad looking, but he is a cheating pig, and I think that kind of ruins it for you.
It has ruined him, because when he first started, you and I were, you know, glancing that way, weren't we? But
yeah,
we haven't. Have you noticed we haven't been swooning since? Because it's all been, you know, not like you say. He's not a nice fella, is he?
No,
ruins it really.
We're not. You know, as shallow as we come across, we're not that shallow.
No.
We like a good-looking lad, but we also like one that's not a dirty cheating pig. So, you know. Yeah. So sorry, Caroline, on your own there. Pauline's back. Pauline on Facebook. She's got something to say.
Right, come on.
I don't know whether I understand what she's saying.
Obviously.
I will read it out, and it's about Xena in case you also get confused. Okay. So Pauline says, who cares by now if they play a game? Drop them like a hot potato. Simply rely on your own sense of things. Never lay the table for them. Let them wonder what's on it. Never be obvious. Sorry, it's so good. I love a Pauline comment. Is she saying, like, you know, don't give it all away, don't give away the milk for free? Is she saying that?
Yeah, like leave something for him to want. Like, don't lay the table. Let him wonder what's on it.
That's what she said. Never lay the table for them. Let them wonder what's on it. Never be obvious.
Classic.
I love that. I've never heard that expression before, but I love it.
Put it on the tombstone. Yeah.
Never lay the table for him, did you, Paulie? Oh dear. Oh, continuing to wonder what's on your table, Pauline. Seriously. David. Mr. David says, get the room, Xander and Dana. I think they will do soon when they eventually stop running away from each other. Jamie on Twitter says, I can't believe that's how we're getting a steamy scene between Xander and Dana arguing over horrendous treatment of Rose. It was a bit of a weird scene, wasn't it? Because they were literally talking about his sister, and then she was talking about her sister and wanted to protect her sister, and that obviously got the fire burning. So it was a bit of a strain, but it worked, didn't it? Let's face it.
It did, absolutely. There's another layer to this as well, in that Rosie's picking up a bit of a fan base lately.
Well, yeah, I was going to talk to you about that a bit later on.
Sorry.
I've got some I've got some comments to read out. So yeah, good reminder. But first of all, there's still quite a lot of people not warming up to Dana still. I don't know whether
I don't get this, because I love her.
I'm warming to her. I don't love her. I think I prefer her to Harper, but I don't love her yet. But there's still quite a lot of people saying no. So, I mean, I can't argue with some of this because Laura on Facebook says she's so stupid, always causing trouble, blaming everyone else. She was the one who let Tani into the hospital, and then she blames Rose for getting him into trouble. Now, I can't defend Dana and say she's not stupid and she hasn't done stupid stuff, because she has.
Yeah.
But that makes her real, doesn't it? I think, yeah.
Absolutely. And maybe it's because I'm a bit like that myself. I'm quite empathetic to someone whose mouth can get them into trouble.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just really like the innocence and naivety aside of her. Yeah. Like, she's just completely naive. She trusted Tani. She thought she was doing the right thing. She trusted the journalist when she told him all the details about the baby.
Rolfe. Yeah.
Yeah. She's just naive,
She is.
And I absolutely love her on that beach.
Oh yeah, she's a great lifeguard addition. Yeah, definitely.
Her and John and the Gavin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no malice with her, is there? It's just, that scene this week we had with John and Irene in the diner when she was like telling them all about what happened with Xander, and then she was like, "Oh, why am I telling you this?" Like, she literally says it all and then goes, "Oh God, I've said it all out loud." Like, she talks and then she thinks afterwards, doesn't she? So it's just funny.
Would you rather everyone just be the same?
Yeah.
Or would you rather some of these characters have this about them? And I would rather this.
Yeah, and she's not perfect. Like, a few of the characters are just too good to be true, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, like Brie, for example, you know what I mean? She's a bit too good sometimes.
Oh God,
Maggie on Facebook really doesn't like Dana, says that she's a troublemaker. There's quite a few people saying the word troublemaker, causing trouble.
Unintentional troublemaker.
Yeah. Yes.
Like you say, no malice.
Yeah, she's just a bit daft.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Marilyn was like that back in the day, a little bit, wasn't she? She would say stuff and then get into trouble, and she didn't really mean it.
That's very true. Yeah, shoot before she thinks. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Jacob emailed us. So Jacob said, "What a bonza week in the Bay. How stupid is Dana still hanging on to her job? Shouldn't she have gone by now, surely?"
Well, there is that.
Hanging in there. We don't know how. We had this conversation this week where Tani was like, "Oh, thanks for letting me see the baby, by the way." And she was like, "Oh, yeah, don't worry about it." And he went, "Oh, I hope you haven't got into any trouble." She's like, No, I'm fine." And I was like, yeah, it's weird that, isn't it?
It is. And we were a bit like, how the hell has she got this job still, really?
Yeah.
We've seen people suspended for much less, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. We have. Absolutely.
Over the years. So it is, especially as she's someone who recently got done for stealing drugs or whatever it was from a hospital,
Yeah.
You think she'd be on what, someone's radar up there.
Yeah, you think so. And then on Twitter, Kiara B is also joining in saying Dana is irritating. So there's not everyone's warm to Dana, but people are still shipping the idea of Xander and Dana. I think it is because, like we've said, they're quite similar and they kind of work as a couple, don't they?
Yeah, they've got the chemistry.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Good pairing. Yeah.
Right, next topic is Mac and Levi, and the secret's out, and Eden is done, and all that drama. So I went and had a look on Facebook, and we've got a comment from Helen Kate who says, "Oh my God, he is just vile, aggressive, lying, cheating, using, you name it. Sooner he's gone, the better. Eden has got every right to be angry. He was using it to concoct his lies to his wife. Yeah, pretty much what we said, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I love. It's weird because he's a villain type character, but he's not villainous. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we're all frothing at the hatred for him, and he's coming. It's weird because we were talking on the pod, weren't we, about him being a big main character, and he looks like he's staying around and all the rest of it, and. But him to be introduced in this way seemed a little straight. It's a home and away trope. You've got to hate them to begin with or dislike them, and then you go on a journey. Yeah. I just wonder whether we're a bit too entrenched here.
Yeah,
the words from just that one comment are pretty strong.
Yeah, and the next one is about the same, as well as quite a lot of these comments. So Felicity, not the Felicity, says he's a narcissist, multiple red flags, the nerve of him getting angry with Eden, classic victim blaming, then guilt trips her, gaslights Cash, etc., acting like the victim himself, awful man. Like, I mean, there's no mincing of words going on. You know what I mean?
This is what I mean. How do you redeem that? I mean, I think I've used the word narcissism a few times for him.
It is the word for him. I think it suits him. Yeah, and lots of people are talking about how vile Levi is, but also the thing with this storyline is how much it's turned people off Mac, and continuing to turn people off Mac. So Mary's saying Mac incited that affair. She's done the running. She knew he was married. She could have ended it. So, Frances jumped in and said to Mary, she didn't know he was married until he told her, but before they first slept together, he gave her the choice of carrying on or stopping it. So we have to give him some credit. And I thought, oof, just because he came clean about being married doesn't mean we give him credit. He's still a cheating, dirty pig, as far as I can see. Don't know. Jeanette's not a fan of Mac. She says, I don't see the fascination of Mac, to be honest. She's so all about her all the time. If it was her married and her husband had played away, she wouldn't like it, would she?
True.
So, yeah. I mean, she got absolutely rat-ass when Ari moved on with Mia, didn't she? So
that's true. She went rock bottom. This is a thing with Mac, like you say, and she's very popular, Mac, or was.
Yeah, she was. I'm not seeing many Mac fans now, I'll be honest. Yeah.
It's hard to see the wood from the trees with all this, isn't it, really?
Yeah, really. Pete on Facebook says, how shallow is Mac? Happy to be the other woman. Yeah.
And that's another thing as well, isn't it? I think it comes back to Mac and her dad problems, personally. She keeps painting on this smile and this face of like, I'm me and I'm an independent woman. We keep talking about it, don't we? But ultimately, she keeps tripping over the wrong bloke time and time and time again. Yeah. I think the way she portrays herself to be and the way she is, I think she's quite damaged underneath from her upbringing.
Yeah, quite a lot of people are saying the same. Actually, the dad's affair has been brought up on Facebook as well this week. So Julie said Mac is just as bad. She doesn't care about anyone except herself. She's just doing the same as the dad did to her mum. It's a case of pot, kettle and black with her.
Do you know what, though? Isn't it good that people are picking that up and we're all joining the dots? Like the story. So in as a character, she's been well-rounded, and we all understand her, I suppose, is a positive to take from it. But I am worried about it. She's one of my favourites of modern home and away.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a shame. I'm struggling to find anybody on Mac's side, really. I mean, the closest I got to somebody defending Mac was someone called Terry on Facebook who said Levi took advantage of Max when she was hurting. Why is it dragging on? Home and Away is the best soap on television, but this dragging on spoils the storyline. So he thinks that she got taken advantage of, which I've not seen anyone else say, actually.
That's an interesting angle, actually, like some sort of manipulation going on, like vulnerable Mac at a low ebb.
Yeah, not seen anybody else come to her side like that before in comments.
That is a new take, isn't it? And is that not holding her to account because Terry's blinded by it being Mac and loving Mac. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes you need to sort of step back and sort of say, look, Mac, because you're real. You are doing wrong, girl, rather than defend your favourite all the time.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Like I say,
this whole affair is interesting in terms of the conversation we've all been having about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm struggling to find anybody really in Mac's corner, to be honest. So that's the nearest I could find, was just maybe she's being, manipulated and he's took advantage of her. That's about it. Eden got a bit of a bashing on social media this week in relation to this. So Carol on Facebook said, Eden is vile. I wish you'd stop sticking her nose into other people's business, even her brother's. And Craig says, Eden is a pain. In her eyes, she can do no wrong. Go away, woman. Lots of comments like this about Eden, about being not very popular character and wallowing in other people's problems.
You see, I have a theory about this.
Oh yeah.
So, well, it's not I can't take credit for my theory. It was on a forum. I can't remember which. I'm on all the forums.
Yeah.
So, because I do more hours on here than I do at my actual job. How often can we all say, watching any soap, not just this one, when there's, affairs, it's a staple of the soap, isn't it? We've seen loads of them. How often can you say you watched a soap storyline where you actually really properly see the effects of the two not involved?
Yeah.
Other than obviously the wife or spouse or whatever. Like, you never really see the effects on the siblings or the wider family, because it does sever relationships in the family when a couple splits up. And I thought, that was it made me think, because I thought, we're seeing Eden's perspective more than Imogen's, actually, which I think is unusual for an affair storyline. We normally see the anger and the, all that from Imogen. I would say, I was expecting her to, when I was saying I was expecting her to go ballistic, and it didn't happen, and I felt like I wanted more from it. But I feel like we're sort of seeing it through Eden's lens more, which I think is a really unusual angle, and it's a different way of telling the story, and that's something that I don't think we get a lot. What do you think to that?
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? You're right. We do normally see the couple and the fallout for the couple, and all the things that happen to them. But I guess if Imogen's not a recurring character, in a way, Eden's her voice on the show, isn't she? Because Eden's going, well, your wife's a mess, and what about Imogen, and what about this, and you know what I mean? So
exactly. And in life, let's say, for example, your brother and his partner split up. Your relationship with your brother's partner would be affected. With your brother's children might be affected. There's all these other relationships, not just that marriage, that surround a couple, isn't there?
I don't think I'd be like Eden, but yeah, I know what you mean. I'd let them get on with it. I don't think I'd get that involved. But you know what I mean? I think she does get quite involved. But then it's because maybe she hasn't got a life of her own. We've talked about that a lot, haven't we? So
I think you're right. I think she's the device for Imogen, because Imogen is not a permanent whatever.
She's having to tell us, the audience, that Imogen's not okay, isn't she? Because we're not really seeing her apart from that that scene last week where she went to visit her. We've not seen her since, have we? I don't think so.
No, and I can only imagine we'll see more of this in the future.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like you're psychic. And Mr. David on Twitter said, Mac went from strong, sassy, independent woman to a doormat, willing to compromise her values and principles for a man. Unbelievable. And Jamie said, and in relation to Mr. David's conversation here, Jamie said, when Dean left, she became intolerable.
From that point.
Do we think it's been that long? Because Dean's been gone a while now. About a year, isn't it? So do we think Mac's been... Is it a slippery slope to Levi?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe and I think that whole, I don't think it's unbelievable. I think Mac does this again and again.
Yeah.
As well. I think she's a bit of a sucker for doing this in one way or another.
Seems to have, well, obviously she's got daddy issues, hasn't she? Because she's she never had a good relationship with the dad. We've heard about her dad treating her mum like crap and all that stuff, which is why it's unbelievable that she would go after a guy that's like that. But also, it is believable that she'd go after a guy like that, because if she has got daddy issues and she has got that kind of, she does sort of chase people. I don't know. I think the Ari relationship was like, he could have been a dad replacement in her life. You know what I mean? Someone to actually look after her, take care of her. Someone that was probably going to be good for her, even though it didn't work out with him. You know what I mean? I think that's why she was so into Ari. And maybe with Levi, we've gone the other way, because this is someone that's bad for her, but reminds her of her dad.
Yeah.
And
it's like she wants to be her. It's like, I deserve this. Like,
well, doesn't she have this underlying kind of like, I'm not a great person, underneath that all that bravado, because she's still quite vulnerable, isn't she? And if we're to believe that she's gone through like the, all the, when she was an alcoholic, basically, wasn't she? I don't think we ever called her that on the show, but she was, when she was spiraling.
Yeah.
When she broke up with Ari. I don't know, and obviously the baby and everything else, and I don't know. I feel like she has got this kind of underlying dislike of herself in a way for things that she's done in the past that she's not forgive herself for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I sort of taught myself around then, because I go, but I love all that complexity to her.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I suppose we've got to love and hate her along with it.
We've invested so much time in this character as well. I mean, with Levi, he turned up and he was a dog from, like, I don't know, the second week that he was there. We know when we worked out he was married and all that sort of stuff. He wasn't in it long enough for us to fall in love with him. Yeah. But we've invested so long in Mac, and she's been, in our eyes, we've kind of made this sort of character for her, and we've decided in our own heads what kind of person she is and what she thinks and her morals and stuff. And this last year, she started to slip away from what we all think she is, and I think that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. Nail on the head there. So
we've just invested so much time with her, and now I think we're disappointed. We're like her parent. We're like, we're not angry, we're just disappointed.
That's it.
Yeah, this isn't you. Like, you could do better than this, Mac, is kind of how we're feeling, I think.
Yeah.
As you were saying earlier, Rose, and what a shitty time she's having at work. Everyone's feeling sorry for her. Everyone's feeling sorry for her.
I think we said last week she was having a stinker.
She's having a right stinker. I mean, the stinky week has carried on into this week, really. And there's loads of tweets. I mean, I've never seen it before. Usually Rose is like, nobody really hates her, but nobody gets that sort of worked up about her. She's just one of those characters, just middle of the road character. You don't love her, you don't hate her. She's somewhere in the middle. But this week, everyone's really feeling for Rose and the predicament that she's found herself in at work. So let's talk about this storyline. So David on Twitter says, I love how everyone in Summer Bay interprets the law to suit them when they've messed up. It's not wrong.
Same.
It's not wrong.
Same, David. Same.
Oh, God. Jamie says, the Crims are really angry at Rose for doing her job, and Sarge can bugger off giving her this added pressure.
I thought it was absolutely insane when we said it, didn't we? That Sarge said, it's up to you. If I mean, he deserves to be struck off himself for that.
Well, I mean, Jamie went on to say, like, he doesn't understand how she's the one that gets to decide whether to charge Harper and Marley, and he thinks that Sarge has been really unprofessional here, and
I agree,
and shouldn't have shuffled this on it. And that's what everyone's been saying, really. I found loads of comments online about this, as if it would be Rose's decision. Other people laughing and saying, oh, of course it's Rose's decision, like laughing emoji, because it is just, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely, entirely. Yeah.
Insane. But it is, I think maybe it is a test of impartiality, because he's asked her to pull her socks up, stop doing favours for her mates. In the fortnight that all of her mates have suddenly started committing crime, You know what I mean? It's
I know. And that one cell,
that
blimey.
one cell, the YCPD had never seen so many people. Insane. Insane. But on the topic of Sarge, Jacob emailed us and he said, we finally met Sarge. And Jacob likes him. He says I think he's pretty cool. He seems like a good guy. You don't want to mess with him. Whenever Rose talks about him, she calls him Sarge, like everyone knows who he is. So it's good to be able to put a name to the face. Yeah, it's true. She always mentions Sarge, doesn't she? But we're all like, who's this elusive Sarge?
The elusive Sarge. Thanks for the email, Jacob.
Thank you. It is good to put a name to the face. It always is, isn't it? And maybe now we have got a face and a name, maybe he'll stick around. Because it's Sarge Callan, I think they called him this week. And he's got a surname and everything. So
yeah, he has. Yeah. So we've had a few Sarges sort of stay with us for a wee while, haven't we? And then go.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened to McCarthy, do you?
I think he's dead. Died off screen. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He's kind of been promoted or something.
You'll have to Google it.
I have to Google it. Everyone getting annoyed with Marley this week, though.
Yeah.
Really annoyed with Marley because Jamie said Sarge complained that Rose was too close to Tane last week. Now he wants her to decide whether to charge Harper and Marley. Her boyfriend, help me understand it. And everyone's saying, yeah, but what a boyfriend, this guy, seriously. Because he can't get his head around the fact that Tane's done something wrong. So there were several tweets saying, Marley, he's a kidnapper. Like lots of people saying Tane's a kidnapper because Tane's a kidnapper and your girlfriend's doing her job. Mr. David got really cross. He said, FFS, Marley. Tane didn't find a tenner on the beach and decided to put it in his pocket. He kidnapped a baby. No, he's not just found a bit of cash. This is the kidnap we're talking about. David wants Marley to be dumped. Says, Rose, you need to dump Marley right now. Lots of people saying this. Jamie's saying, I want a scene where Rose screams in Marley's face, telling him to piss off. I think we need to see it. Just Jen says Marley is such a douche. He's okay with Tane kidnapping a baby and Mac shagging a married man, but God forbid his girlfriend does her job. I can't say it better than that, Jen, to be honest.
No, yeah, well summed up.
Well summed up. Baz on Twitter is also sick of Marley and his shit sliders.
Okay.
I've not noticed the sliders, but okay. And then Just Jen says, to make things worse, not only she got a shitty boyfriend, but now people are going to Rose's house to harass her about work. It's not wrong. Not wrong.
The lines are blurred in the Bay when it comes to that work and life, aren't they? Especially when you're the resident copper.
Yeah, that's true. You're never off duty, are you?
No.
And then Mr. David says, we know we've hit rock bottom when we're all on Rose's side. So yeah, true. Can't argue with that. No, can't argue with that. And then just to end this week's You'll See on the Way, we've got a few comments about Cash and Stevie. So Ty tweeted and said, Cash is very dedicated because I would just let this ungrateful woman die, to be honest. I still think she's suspicious. So obviously she's come back this week and she's been begging him to be her bodyguard again. And he's going, oh, no, yeah. I need to look after Eden. She's going through some shit. And Ty is saying, yeah, I would just let this ungrateful woman die. She's still suspicious of her. Cash has clearly been taking action hero lessons from Tane. That's from Mr. David. Cash running there.
I love bodyguard Cash.
I think we all do, don't we? It's great. Jamie says Cash running there with the pace of the T-1000 from Terminator 2. Great scenes. Great scenes. They are. It's so good. That tuck and roll into the garage was so good. So good. He does run like the Terminator.
Very Johnny Bravo. Yeah.
I loved it. And then just to end the week, Jamie says, I hope they have something lined up for Cash that's just as cool for when the Stalker storyline ends. Because obviously the last time we've seen him this week, he's turned the job down, hasn't he?
Thinking ahead. What happens now? You're right to bring that up. Forward planning. Thank you. He's turned the job down. What now? He's just going to bum around like his girlfriend. He needs a bit of action, doesn't he?
He does.
Hold me in your arms. Don't